In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast. Hello, Chadwick.
Howdy, Frank.
Hi. NPR presents on a very special episode. No, we're not doing any of that today. What we're doing today, there, young Padawan, young Chadwick, dear listeners at home, or in your car, or on an airplane, or in your goon cave.
Probably a cool car too. Let's be honest.
Can you
Listener of
have
this
a-
fine program,
Oh yeah, definitely the finest shitbox.
definitely
in the
listening
tri-state area.
in some kind of cool shit.
Mm-hmm. God willing. And I think, per your recommendation, what we wanted to talk about today was going to be not just performance bargains is kind of a I don't want to call it a tired subject.
It's
but,
a wee sleepy. Yeah.
What comes with your performance bargains? Sometimes there's a threat of mechanical breakdown. Sometimes there's a threat of throwing yourself off a mountainside because of getting out over your skis, or leaving a Carson coffee in your Mustang. There's lots that come with it. And so we wanted to discuss today performance bargains, stuff that's, say, under 20 grand. And, what might be reasonable options out there, or unreasonable options, depending on your pain tolerance level.
And the big part of that, though, Frank, is like actual speed. These are just not sporty cars. I'm looking for genuinely fast stuff and assigning a risk. Like I want to do like a risk of 1 to 10. Like 1 is like low risk, relatively low risk. 10 is like, are you out of your damn mind? And it means financial ruin, reliability, fun stuff. Because, like he said, plenty of people shoot those lists out, right? Like here's some cheap speed, but little do they offer in the line of like assessing actual risk to that. And there's good reason in many of these examples, which I'm sure we're going to get into. I'm excited because there's some good deals still to be had, my friend.
There's some good deals out. There's one that I know you had mentioned when we were scrambling together in a fever dream here to get online and start chatting. That you had some items on a list. What's a list? What are notes? There's one that I'm just like, does he have this? Does he have this on his list? And maybe that's the play here. Is let's just play is this thing that Frank is thinking of on Chadwick's list game, because I don't know if I want to tease it. That I don't want to influence your listicle.
You got to tease it before you please it, my friend.
Speaking of teasing listicles,
we were.
Yes. What do you got? What are you thinking? What comes to mind for you? Because there's plenty of options in the sub.
Sure.
$1,000 mark.
And things are pretty pricey now. Like performance cars tend to carry a premium. And the first 3 really on my list can be clumped together, but I think they're worth mentioning separately because they all kind of have their unique, qualities to them. So right off the rip, my friend, C5 Z06.
Yeah.
I still think for the price point, and you can get a pre-2002 with 375 horsepower, nothing to bat an eye at, or the 405 horsepower one, which says so on the badge, so it's a true dyno reading. You're talking, and like I said, 20K budget, you're going to be under that 20. Now it's getting a lot closer to that. I don't know if you've been noticing these trends. These are like 12 to 13 for a little while. Now they're up there. So you get a high mileage example, which is 50,000 for a Corvette.
Sure.
Z06 with 405 horsepower. And this is not just a straight line speed car. These things are legitimate sports cars. Interiors be damned. They are just really good cars. And what's your take on that, Frank? Do you still think that the C5 Z06 is a good speed bargain right now at that price point?
Yeah, although they've even come, if you find one that's like proper low miles, 30,000 miles, in a good color, in good shape, unmodified, they're like 25 to 30. So
let's go yellow. I fucking love
yeah. Was it Sonic Yellow? I don't remember the name of that yellow.
That sounds just about right.
Yeah, because they have. Let me see. It is Millennium Yellow.
What a cool
Millennium
color.
Yellow.
And the car looks good in
Good
that.
color. Those are excellent. They, if you really want to up your pain tolerance, your Scoville units of bang for your buck, is a lot of those were heavily modified,
That's
and
fair.
seemingly the heavily modified ones like actively detract from the value on them
Hugely.
so you can get one with like a Vortec on it, or some really bad or deeply questionable mods, and spend well under that $20,000 mark, and you'll probably pay for it later. But
yeah, sure.
those are, say, stock, say 100,000 miles. Yeah, you can get them for under 20, and they're pretty good. They're pretty reliable. Parts are ubiquitous. They do handle really, really well.
Really well.
They're good. They're maybe not great on like destroyed roads, and you have to be Corvette guy, but that aside, like,
as a car, as a performance car, absolutely great. And you know what? Risk factor, I gave this a 2, because
sure, yeah,
stout engine. The car is not overly complicated. Parts are readily available. The aftermarket has you covered. I say this
the
is a
interior is
low
going to
risk.
disintegrate, but that's okay.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's
they
fine.
hold up pretty good. They hold up better than the C4 interior. They're just nothing to write home about. It's like big chunky buttons from like the era,
the roundy buttons.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, for sub 20K to get that kind of speed and be reliable, I think it's a good buy. I think that's cheap speed, low risk.
Is
fun.
What I'm thinking of. I'm assuming you're if you're talking about things that should almost be clumped together. Are you going Camaro right after it?
I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't do it.
Because that would have been on my list. Would have been like F body Camaro, like the more modern ones. You can get. But for me, a good balance of reasonably solid performance and looks that I think have appreciated pretty well, or that F body, that late run F body Camaro. So, like an 01 or 02 Z28 SS.
Yeah.
You can easily get under 20 grand for a very, 100%. Very nice example. If you thought the C5 interior was bad, then the Corvette interior is really something. But
yeah, that Camaro, but different echelons of performance though, for sure.
For sure.
A Z06 would just,
it's far spicier. It's a much better performance thing.
But
those Camaros are good. They're good, and they're
absolutely
and
cheaper,
if you want to
cheaper price,
they're cheaper. But if you want to take some of that budget and put it into mods, is there anything more moddable than a Camaro?
No, that's a great point. I actually left off my list. I wasn't even thinking about the 20K cap. You can definitely get a clean one and modify it and have almost that Corvette horsepower at least.
Easy. Yeah.
Good.
Super easy.
Good call, man. And those are cheap. Also, I'd apply a very low risk to those because it's pretty much the same formula as a Corvette.
It's even lower risk because you've just got like a rear dead axle, like solid rear. Yes. You've got, it's just it's even more less bespoke parts on those.
Fair enough.
Like I just super quick, like did a quick search. Like here's a black 2002 Z28 SS. That one's an automatic, but it sold for 10 grand with 60,000 miles on it.
That's good.
They're out. Yeah, they're out there. But so you were clumping something in with that C5. What else did you have in that clump?
Keeping it clumpy. The first gen Cadillac CTSV, my friend. You get that Corvette engine, that 400 horsepower. These things are going 15 to 20K all day. The thing to think about is these CTSVs, the original. Yeah, it's a pretty challenging exterior. The interior is far more challenging. I do not like the interior of these cars.
The interior is maybe one of my least favorite interiors on any car ever produced.
Yeah, it's shit. But the only thing on the interior that redeems all of that is they only came with a 6-speed manual.
Yeah.
God bless Cadillac and God bless the CTSV. For the price point, though, Frank, 15 to 20K, that's a lot of car.
Oh, dude, that's a lot of car.
That's a lot of car.
Because you're talking 400 horsepower,
400 horsepower,
6-speed manual, rear drive. You think a Cadillac sedan, right?
4-door, my friend.
You think Cadillac sedan, and you're thinking like the new Blackwing, which is a big car, or
and
like
120 to 150,000 dollars, right?
Sure. The current that first gen CTS, they're not that big.
No, it's a good footprint.
They're like smaller than an E39 BMW. Like they're not that big. They're pretty small. They were supposed to be like a 3 Series competitor, realistically.
Yeah.
So they're not, and even a new 3 Series is enormous. So yeah, they're a good size. The interiors are trash. The exteriors have grown on me. I think the exterior styling, I don't love the grille treatment, but everything else on that car I think is actually pretty good.
The rear is good. I like the rear.
The rear is good. The profile is good. Those cars have grown on me a lot. I went through a chunk of time really not liking them. I want to say they had slightly problematic rear differentials.
So that's, So, and they had some transmission. I don't know if it's transmission or engine. I think both, actually, different years. So I applied a risk of 3, which is slightly up from the Corvette and Camaro.
Sure.
But still, for the performance, it's a steal and a low risk way to go fast.
Yeah. I kind of want one now. Like I
do. I would love one.
I didn't want one forever until very recently. Like the last few months, I've seen a couple that have caught my eye, and I'm just like, they've grown on me a lot.
It's so much car, Frank. Like at the end of the day, no matter what badge it has, no matter what know, what kind of perspective floats around the car and judgment, be damned. It's a lot of car. It's a lot of performance, and it's a super sedan, which is awesome in our books.
Yes.
Can you guess the third car? It's closer to the Corvette.
Closer to
that you would clump. It's got a Pontiac badge. Right?
Oh, okay. You going at GTO then?
I'm going GTO, buddy. This is Australian.
I was gonna guess XLR actually.
God, you would
like an XLRV.
If those were not automatic only, my friend, I'd have one. But the Pontiac GTO, if you don't get the first tier, which is 350, you get the later ones with the hood scoops, the ram air for 400 horsepower. So we're talking very similar numbers. 6-speed manual. The gauges match the paint color. I love stupid shit. Cool car. Same as a Corvette. Yes. I'd put it right up there is a 2 on the risk scale, 1 to 10. So pretty reliable, straightforward Australian muscle car, right? LS engine, 6-speed manual, rear wheel drive. What else do you need, my friend? And I think they still, in fun colors, like there's an orange, there's a red, in good colors, there's a blue,
there's a purple. And what's great is you can get the matched interior. So you get
the gauges. The gauges match. The piping on the
gauges match. Or just the leather. You can get a full red interior on this. You can get a full purple on purple. You can get a blue on blue. Blah. And dude, what's funny is like you think about that and how outlandish and garish that sounds. When those things came out, everyone was like, "Oh, it's a fancy Cavalier. Like it's so understyled and it doesn't look like a real GTO. And they're so boring looking. Why would anyone pay money for something like that?" Red on red, boring. Get out of here.
Yeah. And now you have a 400 plus horsepower LS powered muscle car for sub 20K all day.
Absolutely.
Good one.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah. Good one. 6-speed sub 20K.
I still want one. Real bad, dude.
Would you do that over a Camaro?
Yeah. Yeah. I do a GTO.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
I think I do. If out of that list, Z06 is first, just because I like the performance aspect of it. In yellow, I think that'd be worth it. And they look sharp. To me, it looks like a good car. GTO second, CTSV third, and then Camaro. Not a loser in the bunch.
Not a loser in the bunch. And you know what I would put right in there as kind of stablemates to consider? So when the Neo Challenger came out in 2008, that car was like,
I think it was.
That was hot shit. Was it maybe 2007 was the first year, and then 2008 was the first year of the SRT 8. I think it might have been what it was. And the first year of the SRT8 was automatic only. And then the next year, I think 09, you can get it with a 6-speed.
That's it.
That's the one. Is you get the earlier SRT8, 425 horsepower.
Here's the problem with that, though, Frank, because that's a dream car of mine. I would love one of those 09s manual SRT8, because that 6.1 was one of the best modern Hemis. I had it in my Magnum SRT8. I always wanted that orange Challenger with a manual. They cannot be had for under 30K at any level.
You can get them.
They Not are with a Manuel, my friend. I look all the time.
I'm looking. Okay, so I just pulled up. I went.
Show me a Manuel.
Here's one, 87,800.
Not an RT.
It is an SRT8 limited slip, 6-speed manual. It didn't sell, but it bid to 13 grand, which is why it didn't sell. But here's another one that sold at 17,155. It was a red one, 53,000 miles. That one's got a Pro Charger and it's an auto.
Nope. But on the actual market, they don't sell for under like maybe high 20s, but never under 20. You'll never get a manual SRT8 under 20. Promise.
I don't know. Challenge accepted. Ooh, here's one with
Challenger accepted.
That's right. Inaugural edition. That's a thing, I guess.
Okay, get off the marketplace. I promise.
No, I want one.
I'm with you.
I think love we can do
that car too, dude. I totally would get down on. I like the orange. I'll take the orange. Racing stripes. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Let's commit. With a manual. I love that 6.1. I know how to replace the cams and the lifters. Ask me how I know.
What's that like?
I know Hemi stuff now, which is the same if I pull your old Hemi muscle cars apart, right? So I just give me your old Barracudas with Hemis. I'll take care of that too. But the thing is that, and they're hard to find. But yeah. Agreed. If I could score one of those for under 20 all day, dude. And I actually said that when Dodge started announcing that they were going to end the Hemi, I said those early SRT8 Challengers with a manual were going to be something you could. I don't squirrel away cars, but if you were gonna for modern-ish car, that's a good car to squirrel away.
And what's good with them too is, I mean, effectively, that car is still in production, damn near. Like,
right.
And so save some ponies, get the earlier one. Ponies, save some monies, get the earlier car, and
with the good motor,
looks like the newer one with the good motor, and yeah, just
cool car. I'm with you, man. I'm glad you said that, Frank. I'm actually surprised because you tend to avoid cars with that stigma of being popular, but I've been saying that for a while. Is that manual version of that SRT8 is just there's something about it. There's something about that car. Now, if the Magnum had a manual, fuck the Challenger, dude. The Magnum with a manual, chef's kiss, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
French kiss the chef, like I always say.
Somebody's got to.
Let's do Risk. You want to do risky speed? Let's keep it V8.
Ooh, okay.
Let's go all-wheel drive. What am I talking about, Frank? V8 all-wheel drive cheap with speed.
Manual?
Yes.
Ooh, V8 all-wheel drive. And a Manuel.
The Germans.
Sure.
Volkswagen Group.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
You going V8 or W8?
Oh, no. This has got 4 circles in the logo, my friend.
Oh, okay.
You already did me dirty with one of these, so
this is a car. This was the one I was teasing of. Is this going to be on his list? Tease. Audi B4, Audi S4 B6 generation. Although B7 is effectively a lot B6, of the same car.
B7, yeah. Fuck me. A car I want to love,
cheap,
not reliable. So
no.
I want to love this car. You get what? 330, 340 horsepower, somewhere
340.
Ballpark. Yep.
340.
All-wheel drive, 6-speed manual, baby. I put the price range for 6 to 12K. I think that's pretty damn accurate, just off the top of my head. What is the biggest? I'm trying to think of all the little things that could totally tank this car's value. Timing chain guides, probably number one.
Yeah, that's the Achilles heel on those cars. And I know because I used to have one. Now it didn't suffer a timing chain issue, but yeah, what happens is plastic timing chain guides, they end up breaking, the chains get sloppy, They rattle around. You end up with a bunch of various faults and bad things. And Audi, in their infinite wisdom, in order to get that car into that chassis, instead of having a timing belt on the front, they moved it to the rear in chain form between the transmission and the motor. So it's a couple $1,000s in parts and about 50 hours of labor to do that repair, which nobody wants to do. Other common things are, I mean, there's lots of things that are common on those. It's an Audi, so they're always leaking oil from every possible oil seal. Lots of things, require putting it in the quote unquote Audi service position, which means you pull
front clip.
You pull the front. Yeah, you basically pull the bumper, headlamps, rad. It's got a bolt-on composite rad support that comes out. Everything.
Yep.
When they work, they're really fun to drive. Are they nose heavy, and do they have terminal understeer? Yes. Is that motor kind of magical and like it's real revvy, and makes good power and very eager? Yes. Does it sound great? Yes. Is that transmission pretty good and shifts pretty well? The 6-speed manual? Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, it does. It's all-wheel drive. It's a V8 all-wheel drive manual. Pretty rare combo.
Cool looking car. Cool interior.
It looks good. If you're trying to stay under that $20,000 mark and have it not be a can of worms, it almost keeps you out of the Avants. You can get a wagon, which is Avant is wagon in Audi parlance. You can get one with some questionable mileage and service history on it for under 20.
Yeah.
But if you want a sorted one, you're kind of sticking in the sedans. And that's where I think the sweet spot is with those cars is if you have one where everything has been addressed and know that like I've got 80 to 100,000 miles to play with before everything else, the house of cards comes tumbling down. You can still, because of they're so problematic, even one where everything has been done is going to be under 20.
Sure. All day. That's why I said 6 to 12K is what you're looking at, and avoid the 6K ones. Avoid the 6K like the plague. Frank, assigning a risk. I did an 8 out of 10. I think that's very applicable for this exact car.
I think that is
not talking like you buy the 20K version that's been like all done over.
If it's just like there's no check engine lights and all the fluids look good and you start it and it drives and everything's cool, yeah, that's an 8.
It's still an 8.
It's unknown service history. It's an 8. Yeah. It's for sure. It's a I don't want to say a hard 8 because that intimidates me, but it's an 8 for sure.
I'm sorry to make you uneasy, my friend, but I think I want to love the car more. I think we both are in love with its performance brother, the RS4, which just takes the formula and ups the ante in both, engine and dynamics. Not going to get it for 20K anymore, unfortunately. I think that was a goddamn steal for the longest time, those RS4s, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But unfortunately the S4, it's definitely cheap speed, but it is high risk associated with cheap speed.
High risk, mediocre reward. I mean,
right. At the end of the day.
But yeah, it's nothing crazy, but they are good. I do like them. I enjoy those cars.
Do we like them? Of course we like them. But yeah, at the end of the day, I can't sign off on that one at all.
You know what?
Yes.
Maybe this is on there. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's on your list, but kind of a semi-direct competitor in period with that car was the E46 M3.
Boy, that's really getting it close to the top of that market though, for 20K.
Right. And so again, if you want the sorted one where Vanos have been done and the rod bearings have been done and the rear subframe has been done and all this stuff, you are well away from and a 6-speed. You're not in the ballpark at under 20K, even if it had deep miles on it. But if you got the one where everything seems to be okay and we check the subframe and everything looks good and it's a manual and it's got 150,000 miles on it and it's silver over gray, it's like just a ho-hum color. Maybe it's a cab, but it's a 6-speed manual, right? Not an SMG car. You can get that for under 20. They're out there.
I mean,
you ramp up your threat level, so to speak. You're at DEFCON 7. You know what I mean? Because it's those cars will be like, yeah, you can get in the door for under 20, but it's going to be it's don't cry now, but you'll cry later scenario, because you're going to have to do that stuff.
Dude, I sold my 05 Imola Red manual with around 84,000 miles for just under 20K. This was a while, but I
can't do that now.
Yeah, when did I sell that? I sold that, dude. I had that car a long time ago. I sold it in, I want to say like 2013, somewhere back in there.
Oh wow, okay.
What do you think that thing's worth today?
So
gotta be like closer to 30.
Oh yeah, I would say probably 35, because it's the right color. 05, so it's a later run car.
Black leather interior.
Did you do any of the big three?
Yeah, I did a lot of, and I did some of that work at Dynan with receipts. So it's a good car.
Yeah, that's probably 35, maybe tickle 40, because it's the right color. And if you've got all the big three stuff, but I mean how
loved it.
Our life is full of that. But yeah, but like I think you can, if you wanted to get one for under 30 and have it be a 6-speed, and you wanted to really kind of roll the dice, you could do it.
Yeah, that's tough.
Depends on your use
case,
right?
Risk on that. You got to put it as a risk.
7.
You think so? I was gonna say 6. Yeah.
I think to get one under 20, it's a 7.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right. You're gonna take that. You're gonna take that non-subframe reinforcement. You're gonna take
if everything's been done, and it's like your car that you had,
you're gonna have 3 oil leaks, right?
Yeah, like your car that you had, a later car, sorted, all the big 3 ticket items done.
That's a good one.
Under 100,000 miles, that's like a 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that higher mileage, the Vanos is leaking, everything's leaking. The oil pans love to leak on those. Ask me how I know. And that's a shitty job, by the way. But yeah, you're right. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. I didn't even think about that one. And it's pretty fast. I don't definitely not in the league of a Z06 Corvette.
No, very different
different animal. But good car. I do, and these are also not in the same league, but both of these I'd put right there with the E46. 2 Japanese cars, if you will. One of them's all-wheel drive with 2 turbos. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Under 20,
all-wheel drive twin turbo.
Relatively portly on the scale.
It's pretty portly. I've owned a variant, a very nice variant actually.
Active aero, perhaps, depending on the model year.
Yeah.
Is this the Stealth 3000 GT situation?
Yep, the VR4. You're getting all-wheel drive. You're getting twin turbo. So your power level is going to be, it was 300 for the early ones, 320. All they did was up the boost. You could put a little boost controller in, turn it up, and you'd be pretty close to that goddamn Audi's output.
Yeah, no, for sure.
VR4 3000 GTs, I want to say, are 7 to 15K right now. For drivers. For drivers.
Good drivers.
Of course. Yeah. Good. Well, yeah. The stock, like if you get stock under 100K, they're going to be 20K plus. They're right at that level now, unfortunately. Later models, of course, warrant a little more, even though I like the earlier ones. I do like the pop-up headlights. I think it's a very cool look. The stealth variants are a little cheaper because the Dodge badge, I actually think the stealth looks cooler in the early ones. I loved.
Sure.
I had the 1991 I think it was 91 Stealth RT twin turbo, and I loved that car. You don't get any of the active aero, so none of that bullshit, but exactly the same car mechanically, and the interior. Good deal for performance. These aren't like lightning quick cars, but they are pretty damn quick still. They're modern quick.
Yeah, they're a good GT option.
Yeah, 100%. And you get them with a 5-speed manual. The rub, my friend, is that this is it's not that it's unreliable. It's because of shitty modifications.
It's kind of the rub. It's kind of the rub, though.
Yeah.
Is that they are.
They're complicated to work on. The engine bay on a 3000 GT VR4 Dodge Stealth twin turbo, it's just packed. Everything's in there to do like what you think would be a basic job. Like if you have to, God forbid, replace an intake manifold gasket or valve cover gaskets, it's a lot more work than you think going in there. And for that reason, I assigned a risk of 4 to them.
Okay,
borderline 5.
I think I would edge it to 5.
I don't know because they're not necessarily unreliable. They don't have known defects. Like a 5 is like something you're gonna have to fix. If you get a decently sorted one of these, you might not have to do any of that difficult work.
Did they have crank walk issues, or is that just in my head?
No, not with
Okay.
those. Not with the twin turbos.
Okay.
I give them a 5.
You know what I think, all things being equal,
Cool cars, by the way, too.
I think I would rather have, but is in that same kind of right in that same headspace, would be a Z32 twin turbo.
It's the other one. The other one on my list. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think at the end of the day, I go twin turbo 300ZX as well. I think it's cooler looking. Like
I agree.
I owned one also. I owned a 1990. You get T-tops, which I think is infinitely cool. It's rear wheel drive, so it's more of like a traditional sports car. Cooler. Yeah, the interior on the 3000 GT, both of them are very cockpit oriented.
Yes.
Command post. I think they're just really well executed. Oh yeah, that's a tough one. I love them both. I gotta put them even, dude. Even. I love them both the same.
I think
they both look so
the 300Z,
cool.
They both suck to work on.
They did the exact same score, 5.
Yeah. They both suck to work on.
Fairly reliable when maintained, though.
Fairly reliable when maintained. I think I would rather have the Z32. I think all things being equal, I think I'd rather have the Z32. They kind of are roughly playing around in the same budget.
I think the 300ZX twin turbo is not a fucking slammed multi-panel car.
No, just a straight.
So my range was 7 to 15 for the 3000 GT. For the ZX twin turbo manual, I put 11 to 20, and obviously they go above 20, right? Mine was a high mileage example, and I sold it for quite a bit, like right in the middle of that range, and it sold like an hour after I posted it. So, those demand a little more premium. I think they're deservedly so. I think it's more of a true sports car versus, the argument can be made that's a Grand Tourer as well, but I think it's more sporty.
No, for sure. It's definitely more sporty. You can get the Z32 with cloth seats, which is fun.
That is super cool. Yeah.
Which is fun. God, I haven't.
2 cool cars though, dude. I can't even
selling myself, man. I'm selling myself on stuff. I need to get rid of some cars so I can bring one of these things home.
I'd love to get a VR4 because I had the Stealth. I'd like to get the Mitsubishi version.
I want to see. I've never. Well, I lied. I've owned one Z car, but I was not really able to drive it because it was in a perpetual state of fucking.
Why didn't you drive my Z32 once I got that old?
I don't know. You tell me.
That thing was a peach.
I've driven an NA Auto.
Yeah, very different.
Very different. I've driven a turbo auto. A buddy of mine had a twin turbo auto in college. It was a very clean car. It was that like maroon over gray.
Okay.
Automatic. Nice car, pretty low miles, but
automatic. Yeah. Both the Stealth and that Z32 twin turbo are deceptively fast cars. The way they put power on, it's incredibly smooth and linear, and it pulls. It just pulls all the way through the rev band, and you are going pretty fast before you know it. It's kind of cool. For 300 horsepower, they can move. And at the time they came out, that was astronomical, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was
fast.
I mean, think about it. Like the generations of those cars before, the turbo versions were struggling to get 200 horsepower.
Yeah.
And so this was a 50% bump.
Wild.
And it's just really
both of these cars, though, 5 to 10 years, we're not going to be able to get into them at any price point we can talk about.
Yeah, I think
clean stock, well kept ones.
Yeah, I think the values on the Z32s are going to bump higher and quicker than on the Stealth and 3000 GT. But we shall see. You have anything else on your shit list over there that I did cobbling together?
I did add one, and it's kind of low on power compared to the rest, but it is a sports car, Porsche Boxster.
Yeah,
kind of got to mention that. Whenever you talk about cheap speed or cheap performance, the Boxster is kind of the only true sports car on this list. To be honest, It's a 2-seater. It's a convertible. good handling qualities, decent power. They're pretty quick for what they are. God, dude, it's all over the place though when we start talking about the factors that could impact. Did you get a good Boxster? Did you get a bad Boxster? And there's a delta between there that most people don't want to take that risk on, man.
Well, what's interesting is what I would want to like add to that, like when putting a list together like this, I think, okay, you could probably, if you find one that's like maybe not perfect, but is a good example, you can maybe find like a questionable IMS history, like 996 Carrera with a manual coupe for just a tick under 20.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm trying to stay under 20 though, I think I'd rather just have a sorted Boxster
Fair.
and just do that. And yeah, it doesn't make as much power, but like the balance is a little better. It's a lot cheaper. They're just fun. They're good cars. And yeah, you can get one under 20 pretty much all day and be in good shape.
But for a $10,000 one, it's going to be early. You could
It's
have
going to
some
be
bore
early.
score. I'd throw a bore scope down in that bad boy. Could have some IMS issues. That's a little more rare. Bore score is more common. I put a risk factor of 6 if we go Boxster, my friend.
Ooh, yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. For sure. And I think honestly, if you're trying to stay under 10, in my opinion, go earlier. Get as early as you can. With the 2.5s, they don't have the IMS issues nearly at the same rate as the later cars. And enough power. They're fine. And you can save. You can have one that's a little the desire for them, the desirability is lower, so the buy-in is cheaper, and you can get a sorted one for without having to break the bank.
Very much. But I think at the end of the day, dude, you're buying that CTSV, I'm getting that Z06, and we're putting down like 800 ponies, my friend, for a budget 800 ponies and low risk. Win-win.
Low risk. There's one other one I think I want to put on the budget ponies and low risk. That would be
Mustang Cobra.
No, well,
how didn't we mention that?
It depends. If you're talking
not supercharged, no Terminators.
Yeah. I would say Terminators. I think you're buying a very marginal car. The early like new SN95 Cobras, a ton of very cool horsepower for your buck there. What I was going to say though is for more power and more performance for under 20, and we're talking high teens to maybe button right up against 20, is you can get that like first year new 5.0 Coyote Mustang GT, maybe middling options. You can like say a 14 Mustang GT, certainly an automatic, but if you want the manual, which let's face it, you do, you can get one with a manual with some miles on it for under 20. You're going to have to hunt a little bit, but they're out there. And
without the independent rear suspension.
Correct. But you get the new 430 horsepower, dude, 435, something like that.
One of my craziest stories is like, so they redesigned the Mustang in 2010. They came up with that new look, but it still had the 4.6 in there with 300 horsepower. The next
1 year later,
it looked exactly the same. Oh, here's an extra 100 ponies plus. Yeah. What the hell? Imagine if you bought that in 2010, bro. I always said this. I'm like, that is one of the biggest disparities between model years. Oof.
No, it's no bueno. But yeah, if you get one with some miles on it, say low 100,000 miles, which is a lot, but those cars, they actually held up okay. The interiors are garbage, but
no, they're good.
They're garbage cars, even with no miles on them.
I like the SN97, the retro looking one. I'm a fan of that V8. I think that's a good deal. Not
with the modular,
far greater echelons behind a Z06 performance wise, but man, for that price point, get a GT. I think they've aged incredibly well. I love it when they have the grill mounted like secondary fog lights up high. I don't know, cool looking car, man. And that baby blue.
Yeah, was it Grabber blue? Is that what it is?
I think Grabber was the gnarly blue on the Boss Mustangs. I don't think they did Grabber. I think it was like a baby powder ass blue. Kind of like my shirt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Grabber.
Grabber was a little more.
We're not going to talk about Epstein again. What?
Let's quiz.
We
After all that,
we should.
all the Epstein Island stuff, I really got a quiz, dude.
Yeah, it just really.
I'd take the edge off.
Living on the edge. Yeah. Anywho,
I'll explain the game to our viewers while Frank looks at Epstein Island photos. So this is our automotive print ad quiz game show, guys, where Frank today is going to pull up a periodical, a magazine, newspaper, microfiche, and find a car ad from the 80s, 90s, up until the mid 2000 aughts. He is going to read through this ad, but he's not going to tell me anything that dead gives the car away, but it's on me to guess. I have 3 guesses. Every time I fail, he can give me a hint. That's pretty much it, guys. I have 10 minutes on the clock to get there. So, Frank, roll that beautiful bean footage. I don't know why I want to say it every time, but I love it.
Let's flick that beautiful bean footage. Okay, so
double click the mouse. Let's go.
The ad is this is a weird one, and so the ad
Frank hates me
is unusual. Okay, so let me explain it to you. So it's weird in a couple of ways. First off, it's actually the ad is realistically for two cars, two stablemates. Two platform shares, if you will.
Okay.
It shows the car at the bottom, our favorite front quarter image. It's stationary. There's like a sunset in the background, and then it has just behind it what appears to be a mock-up of Stonehenge made out of crushed cars with ivy and stuff growing on it. And then it says, the complete car. If you want it, here it is. Some age-old ideas about North American cars are about to become history. Yesterday's options are now standard with blank and blank. The complete car. It then goes to list off 47 standard features, just in bullet points, and they're numbered.
Is there anything like, do you want to read them all, or do you want to?
I'm going to read 47 standard features that come on the complete car. And for whatever it's worth, if you guess either one of these two vehicles, you get the point. That's fair. You get the complete here. So you've just doubled your odds, my friend.
And you said it's a single pager? Fit all this action on one page. This is unbelievable.
All this action on one page, and I'm going to read it, and I got to like zoom in on it here because they use a small font to fit it all on here. Okay, I'm just gonna number 1, power brakes. I'm not gonna say H number because that'll get old. Okay, number 1, power brakes. Variable intermittent windshield wipers and washers.
Okay.
5-speed manual transmission with overdrive. Power rack and pinion steering. Electronic digital clock. Ignition key reminder chime. Remember, kids, these are all being touted as standard features.
Okay. Fantastic.
Side window demisters. Child-proof rear door locks. Electronic fuel injection.
Epstein Island
Exactly. 2.2 liter engine. Interior hood release.
I'm going to write notes.
Clear coat paint for a brilliant body shine. Front wheel drive. Precision handling with gas charge struts and shocks. Visor vanity mirror.
Jesus Christ.
All season steel belted radials. Halogen headlamps. Maintenance free battery.
Bullshit.
5 years, 80,000 kilometer warranty. Trip odometer.
Kilometer?
I don't know why. I don't know.
This is not an American ad.
It must not be, but I struggle to understand.
It's definitely a car that was sold in the US, right? 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure, for certain. I'm actually stunned that they would consider selling this in anywhere that would measure anything in kilometers. Number 20, trip odometer. Mini console with front and rear storage bins. Premium sound installation. Remote lift back release. Day/night rear view mirror. Color keyed seatbelts with automatic retractor. Carpeted cargo compartment. Say that 10 times fast.
Can't.
Lower body side urethane protection. Wide protective body side moldings. Flash to pass headlight control. Heater slash defroster with bi-level ventilation. Front and rear anti-sway bars. Electronically tuned AM radio. Reclining bucket seats. Fold down rear seat. Remote control dual outside mirrors. Removable color keyed shelf panel. Counterbalanced hood. Sport steering wheel. Half cloth upholstery. Color keyed carpeting throughout passenger compartment. Color keyed bumpers with protective rub strips. Illuminated cigarette lighter. Loss proof fuel cap. Easy access interior fuse box.
Jesus Christ.
Headlights on warning chime. An upshift indicator light. And number 47, tachometer. 50/80, best built, best backed, North American cars and trucks. That is it, my friend. Were you taking notes?
Yeah, so I wrote down definitely domestic. I wrote down 2.2 liter and front wheel drive. And I'm assuming this has got to be early 80s. This is definitely an 80. Oh, it depends what I pick. 82, 83, 84 timeline is what I'm guessing, just off of the shit you described. What the hell are we? This is insane, Frank. I don't. There's not a lot. Like, those are features that you find in automobiles. It was like a feature list, like automobile has the following 47 items.
You mean when you're shopping for a car, one of the key features you're looking for is not an easy access interior fuse box?
No, but the counterbalance hood for sure, though.
Yes.
So interesting point was color keyed carpeting in the what was it, inside the passenger
throughout
compartment?
Passenger compartment,
making me think there could be a truck variant, perhaps. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what passenger compartment. I don't think the engine bay is carpeted. Maybe not the trunk. This is tough. I want to say, if this is early 80s, I want to say this is a vehicle. God,
correct.
It could be a truck.
He's
SUV.
done it.
It could be a pickup truck SUV combo, which I don't think 2.2. We're not talking Toyota land here. My mind goes to sedan wagon. If we're
so, let me give you a point of clarification here. When I say the ad is actually for two cars, I mean
two completely different.
Two completely, the make and model is different.
Oh, the make and model?
The make and model is different. The car itself is effectively the same. Like, for instance, if it'd be like, it's clearly not this, but it'd be like if it was an ad for a Camaro and a Firebird.
Okay, gotcha now. That clarified it. I thought you meant like one name, two different completely models. Okay, cool.
No.
That changes things. 2.2. My mind jumps to like GM. They put a 2.2 in everything. They ran that engine for a while, but I don't know if it goes back to the 80s like that. This is tough. Boy, there's not a lot to act on here, Frank.
You got front wheel drive. 5-speed manual with
everything from GM in the 80s was front wheel drive, just about. Very few.
Have you considered the sport steering wheel?
I thought about that. It didn't say door count, so I didn't get sedan, coupe, convertible, anything fun like that.
Child-proof rear door locks.
That's true. Okay, so sedan at least, not could be a wagon, could still be a wagon.
Ignition key reminder chime.
That's a good one.
Bink bonk, bink bonk.
Yes. 2.2 though. This is not a Dodge. This can't be a Dodge. Can't be a Dodge.
Same old ideas about North American cars are about to become history.
Boy, Dodge did run a 2.2 for a very long time, my friend.
They did.
What did they have with four doors? I will fuck this up. Well, if it's Dodge, they could be talking about Plymouth and Dodge. Could be two versions, kind of like the Neon. They did the Plymouth and Dodge Neon.
Yeah,
It's tough, dude.
they did.
What was a four door with the two? I'm fucked on this one. I have no idea, man. I want to say something like a. Let's just get the ball rolling. Let's go early. I think it's going to be mid 80s. I don't like this answer. Chevy Lumina, and I don't think they had that. That didn't come out just yet. I think that was a late 80s car. But let's go Chevy Lumina to get the ball started here, rolling in some direction.
Final answer.
Final answer.
It is not a sometime somewhere in the mid 80s Chevy Lumina. And I think you're right. I think the Lumina didn't happen till later because I think it was either, depending on how compact you were, Corsica or Euro, like Celebrity.
Yep.
Yeah. It is not that. It is not a Chevrolet product.
Okay. That doesn't rule out the other GM pantheon of excellence. Let's jump ship and go to Dodge. Let's go to Dodge for a little bit. They did run that 2.2 and everything, even in turbo variants and the Daytona Shelby Z that I'm very familiar with. You could get like the Chargers, Dodge. Ooh. Did they stick it in the shadow? I don't know if the shadow is going to be old enough for this though. Boy, this is tough, dude. What did
the complete car? If you want it, here it is.
I know the Plymouth. There was a Horizon.
Have you considered the flash to pass headlamp controls?
Isn't that just like
it has high beams?
Yeah, isn't that just that pushing the switch in and it releases back? Okay, no, I didn't.
That's a feature,
dude.
Trip odometer. It's got one.
Digital clock. I remember that one too.
Number 20. Number 20 on the list was a trip odometer.
This is not easy, Frank. This is not an easy one.
You've got approximately 3 minutes.
This is insane. It's a 2.2 liter domestic front wheel drive. My notes have not changed. Dude, I gotta say Dodge. I gotta say, or Plymouth. I don't think this is an Omni. I mean, it might. Is that the total car? Fuck it. Dodge Omni or Plymouth Horizon.
It is not the Dodge Omni or the Plymouth Horizon.
Okay.
You have, well, either one of them, the makes correct.
Not both, though.
Well, both.
Oh, cool.
But not the model.
This is fuck. The 2.2 is in everything, dude. Can I have a better hint? Something to, because this is tough. This is. I'm gonna put this as 9 spice, dude. This is a 9 spice.
They have this ad features one of those two. There's only one car pictured, but it talks about them both. The one pictured is a sedan, but I'm pretty confident they also made a two-door variant. And either variant, I think they're technically hatches, but they're styled as if they're like a 3-box style sedan coupe or sedan styling. I don't think they made wagons of either of them. I think of just 2-door and 4-door. And how about this? How about both models, either one of the model names starts with an S? That's pretty hinty.
I wanted to say this first. One has a very spicy version, right? Is that a fair ask? There is a spicy version of one of these.
I think they did later make turbo variants.
Yeah, that was spicy.
I think a bit, but I don't think they made the super spicy. If you're thinking of what I'm thinking of, they made a super spicy one later.
Yes.
I think they made like a medium spice level.
I don't think these came out that early, but I'm gonna say this is what I really wanted to go with at the beginning. I'm almost out of time anyway. This is tough, dude. I think you sunk me on this one. I For some reason I really want to go, and I think they both begin with S's, right? Did you say that?
Yes.
So I think, and I almost said this as my first guess. I want to say Dodge Shadow, and I think it's Sundance is the other one.
The Plymouth variant?
Yep. Final answer, my friend.
Yesterday's options are now standard with Dodge Shadow and Plymouth Sundance.
Yes, dude. I wanted to say that at the beginning, but I thought for some reason the Shadow came out late 80s.
This is 1980. This ad is from 1987.
Oh, that is surprisingly archaically written.
well, yeah, when you're touting
Bro,
color keyed seatbelts with automatic retractor.
Tell me that doesn't sound like 82, 84. Like all
well,
day.
Yeah, like when they're like so bare bones that you're like highlighting the loss proof gas cap.
We stop ourselves sometimes, right? We mentally put a challenge that's not in there. Dude, that was like going to be my first guess. And I got both for bonus points.
Yes, you did. And that's the thing. It was
my shitbox knowledge. Dude, I
thought it's tough, but I was thinking 2 + 2. And then like, well, I'm doubling your odds because if you say either one of them, then like you win.
Still, dude, you
pulled it off.
At least a 9 out of 10.
Let me send you a link to the ad because
that has to be 9 out of 10 on the spicy scale. Let's agree.
Yo, it's got some kick.
Oh, buddy, thank God for my well-versed shit box like knowledge set, right?
I just thought the ad. I almost picked a different ad.
Oh,
and
that's
then
cool.
I saw that. I was like, this thing is stupid.
Okay,
it's just a list of like
just in fucking like a shopping list. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. How did you read that? First off, second, thanks, man.
Oh, anytime.
I like after my second guess and second hint, my notes were still domestic 2.2 front wheel drive, and that's all I had. That's all I had to act on.
The Plymouth Sundance. It's no Dodge Caravelle, but it's
the Shadow did have a Carroll Shelby CXX version
on the Shadow.
Yeah, dude, the CXX.
But they didn't. But the extra spicy version was the Dodge Spirit. The Spirit RT.
Okay, the Spirit RT, but the CSX was very spicy though. If you don't know what it is, you better look it up.
No, I know what it is, but I think I thought it was one of those ones where like, because you can get like the two-tone interior like you could on the Charger.
This is the CSX, stuff, right? The Shadow CXX, or just CSX, the Carroll Shelby Experiment.
Those were the two-door only ones, right? And they were all like, I think they were numbered.
200 something horsepower too, 2.2 turbo.
Really? I thought it was only like 170 or something.
Oh, that's still beefy, bro. This one had like 105.
Let's see.
CSX
2.2 turbo to 75 horsepower and 175 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 6.8 though. It was cooking for.
It was fast
for 87.
That's the spicy one I was alluding to.
Yeah.
God, I know my shit boxes, Frank. That was tough.
Oh, dude. Then the VNT. That's right. They had the VNT one later, which was. Right. Oh, I guess it's the same horsepower, but you got a bump in torque.
There we go. Works. Okay. Well, I think we deserve to do a low PCP after you put me through that bullshit.
We should. What have you been up to, let me be brief and hold on. I'm gonna you vamp for like 2 seconds, so I'm gonna go off frame over here and away from my mic, and I'm gonna grab. Not myself, but I'm going to grab something. I'm going to present it here.
Well, do both. So this is extra incentive for you guys to follow along on our YouTube channel where you can see us. And if we do have interactive pieces, like I hope Frank comes back on camera with something appropriate. He has, I can't really tell.
The eagle has landed.
It looks like some kind of nipple torture device would be my first guess.
It's the stupidest car part in the history of automobiles.
Is it a vacuum actuated something?
No, it is.
Because those are stupid.
It is this, which came out of the little green 924.
Oh, it's horrible. It has an Audi sticker
this is
on
the
it,
replacement
so
one. Yeah, it does. Not just Audi, it's VDO and Audi.
The killer combo.
So this is the good one. So what this is they call it the EGR counter. And what happens is you have cable coming out of the transmission, the speedo cable goes into this input here. and then it comes out of it here. There's just a straight shaft that goes between this in the middle of this, and then there's a bunch of gears and a Rube Goldberg machine in here that then gives an output reading here. Whoop. And all it does is it counts mileage. And once you get to 30,000 miles, it then goes, oh, boop, and it puts an EGR warning light on your dash, telling you to, hey, you need to go. It is the early 1980s, and we make stuff for the rest of the world. And we, unfortunately, for emissions reasons, we have to put this stupid EGR system on this car that it wasn't designed for. And we're worried about the EGR system clogging up and burning up the head. So we're going to tell you that you have to not only just service it every 30,000 miles, we're going to have this little box in here that's going to count the mileage for you and clip on and toss a warning light on to let you know that it's time to clean your EGR. And then what you do is you go in and you go, this little button here, you push this in and it resets the clock.
Oh my God. Is this good for another 30,000 miles? Is this like an emissions only thing? So some states didn't have that? All of them did?
No, it's a federal. It's
gotcha.
So all of them had EGR, whether you were California or 49 state.
For California or America. Got it.
And so this is the one that came out of the car.
Oh.
You see this here?
That looks a little broken right there.
It's a little brokey broke.
Got a little brokey broke action. Oh, that is not pleasant.
So the plastic broke off
as Volkswagen,
so it was making this like crunchy, awful, terrible noise.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and the gears are all fuckery, and that's why my speedometer cable was jumping around.
Oh, there we go.
And so so I got another one. I found one on eBay, $60 shipped.
Not bad.
Which is annoying because it's just like this stupid thing was gonna make all my stuff not work. So
fantastic.
Throw it into the corner.
Dramatically tossed.
That's so I have that. As you can see, I have the new one. I haven't put it in yet, but it just showed up the other day, finally off of the eBay Motors hunt. And it took me forever to figure out what that damn thing is called. And they call it the EGR counter. Sure.
Story checks out.
How about you? You been doing anything?
Yeah, I've been working on legit cars that are not made of crumbly little pieces. So the G20T that I scooped up on the last episode that I covered, full interior refresh on that car, my friend. It's already in pretty good shape. There was a little bolster wear, so I did put a really high quality leather patch on that bolster. Barely notice it if I don't point it out. It's looking good in there. I also steam clean the interior, which I do on these old cars. Huge difference maker. It didn't smell in there, but it's always good to bring that carpet back. It has the original carpets in it, Frank, with the infinity symbols on them. Even the back one that kind of covers the little hump there, if you will, with the infinity symbol. So I've gone and done all that. I even get a little paintbrush out, do all the little vents and clean it up. It's definitely a 9 out of 10 car on the inside. Leather steering wheel's in good shape. Factory radio, AC works, sunroof, everything works. Everything electronic on that car works. And that's just work. You get that money back, I think, when you fully detail an interior like that. Because, when you got dust in all your little nooks and crannies in your butt crack, it detracts from the overall aesthetics of that interior. And just cleaning up, it's black on black. So now it's nice and I condition the leather. That's the other thing. The leather on these is pretty damn good. This does not suffer from shit leather. This has like just about the same quality as the Galant VR4 leather interior, which is Japanese leather from that interior, high quality.
It's actually good. Yeah.
But it can dry out. All leather can dry out. So it's really just bringing it back to life. And I use like a 3-step conditioning process and bring it back. It's all soft and supple. You want it to be soft and flexible. When it dries up and you sit on it, you can't take it back, right? So just like skin, you want to keep it moist, just like, what is it, baby flesh interior? I can't, let's not revisit this past episode we talked about. But yeah, dude, just doing the interior. And it takes a lot of time to do that, right? To like get out there, steam everything and like redo all the seats and clean every nook and cranny. But I think it's time well spent in getting this car where it should be. Yeah. So that was my PCB, man. A little interior detailing and some patching.
Hell yeah, brother.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Well, that's another one in the books.
Did we make
ladies and gentlemen? So yeah, as always, thanks for hanging out with us. You got any last parting shots for us there, Chadwick?
I do, yeah. I mean, really, just to echo what you were about to go off and say, all these wonderful listeners is thanks so much for spending some time with us, guys. Like, honestly, this is another Pointless Automotive podcast, APA podcast for all the cool kids in the room. We do appreciate it, guys. It's just a small little operation. It's Frank and myself, and we are obviously not getting compensated. We're paying to make this happen, and we absolutely love it, and we love having you guys here. We want more interaction, so definitely leave some comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any feedback on the episode or anything you want us to talk about in the future, we love that. Feel free to leave a review. That's how we know how horrible we're doing, and we appreciate that feedback.
Please judge us openly.
As candid as it is, and or you write your name on there and say fuck it, do something about it, guys. We do appreciate that. We also post every episode to YouTube. Check it out if you want to see our faces. I don't know why you would, but go for it,
etc.
Yeah, you can see some random ass Volkswagen, Audi parts that go in a Porsche. That's always fun to see. So check that out too. But we appreciate it. Check out our Instagram. Every once in a while, like once every blue moon, we will put some kind of post on there that's haphazardly put together. But that's basically how we run this operation. But we do thank you for that. Frank, where can the good folks follow your personal endeavors out there on the interwebs?
Oh boy, I am the Photographer's Garage on all of the usual suspects. How about you, dude?
Yeah, and check out Frank's Instagram for sure. World-class photography. This guy can shoot some film, bro. Check him out. I am Auto Obsessive Garage on YouTube. Rescues, restorations, reviews. Pretty cool cars on there. The last one I did was Frank's awesome LS. Check it out. Pretty cool review. Cool car. Definitely deserving of a much better person to review it, but I gave it hell anyway. So Instagram as well, but not as much. But anyway, from all of us at APA Podcast, thanks for tuning in. We absolutely love you guys. Take care. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye.